Perfect. I see some familiar faces. Hi, everyone. Thumbs up. It's been a while. I'm so excited to be able to finally reconnect. Sorry that it took us a minute to host another community event, but you can be rest assured that we've been very busy, which we're going to talk about what we have been doing, what's happening with Step, what's happening with all the things that we have been doing. So I will be accompanied by Step's one and only George Harrap. Welcome, George, once again.
Hello, great to be here. Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? It's been, I don't know, man. It's like a month or something like that. Maybe, no, 2 months perhaps.
Yes, it has been. I think it was the last one was before Crossroads.
Yeah, okay. All right. It has been a while. So there's much to catch up on and much to talk about.
That's right. So today I would like to talk about Solana All-Stars first, where we onboard new users to Solana worldwide with in-person events. And then I would like to touch on StepDAO that we launched recently, how to earn Step through community bounties. And I also would like to talk about the organization of Step, how we're adding new tasks every other month, it seems, and just talk about what's going on in general and what's the bigger picture, where we're headed with Solana Floor, Step Finance, Step Data, Crossroads, All-Stars, and the next Billion podcast.
Wow. There's so many
I
things
know.
there. I forgot.
Mouthful.
Sometimes I forget all of these things, right? There's a lot
That,
of things to remember.
that's right. The list goes on, and I feel like we add more as we go.
Yeah, well, it's all with good reason. I mean, let's start off by talking about All Stars, shall we? And
Yes.
um,
Yeah, let's do that. Uh, can you tell us about All Stars a bit? It's obviously our in-person Step events. It's organized by Step, onboarding new users in the ecosystem. Tell us about the goal behind it and how everything is going so far.
Yeah, so I guess we take a step back to when we last spoke. So we last spoke a couple of months ago prior to Crossroads, which was the first Solana community conference ever. So that was something that we put on. We funded it. We paid for it. It was great success. We had 1,400 registrants. We had people from all across the industry. We had people locally in Turkey as well, and we spoke about that as well beforehand. So it was a great success in Istanbul a couple of months ago, right? So that's all well and good, and that was sort of following on from the Hacker House and some of the cool stuff which Solana continues to do all around the world. They have these in-person events which bring usually like 1,000, 1,500 people to them over some time period, and everyone goes there. They build some stuff. They maybe start a project or something like that there. But it's a way of onboarding people into the ecosystem. And by the way, no other L1s are doing this. Solana's doing a really good job at that. So this is a very successful kind of formula for onboarding a lot of people into the ecosystem, number one. But the other thing is, okay, how do you get people after the roadshow ends and the circus packs up and goes to the next town? What happens next, right? And that's one of the things of you need something for all of these people, these 1,000+ people that attend these events. What's the ongoing, I guess, community involvement that they have with Solana after that? And what you want is you want to have a pipeline of people that are active and engaged and are doing things, right? So after Crossroads comes the idea that, well, you need more ongoing events. So that's number one, is you need something that that people can go to on a frequent basis. Number two, this was actually our thinking behind this was, well, how do we grow in a bear market? And perhaps a lot of projects are thinking this as well, right? So one of the things is that what you can do is you can go, oh, we're going to double down on digital marketing and tell people that they can go and join our Discord and, buy a coin or whatever. Like, that's what a lot of people do. And it's like, hey, bro, come to my Discord. The thing is, Nobody cares in a bear market. Doesn't work. There's hardly any people. Everyone packs up and leaves.
Yeah.
Users go down 95%. So this is not a viable model for onboarding 1 billion people into crypto, or to at least continue to grow all of the good work that everyone's been doing over the last couple of years. So that's the path that a lot of people take. But what we thought is, well, actually, if we want to grow in some of the places that we care about, which I think we've spoken before, about Turkey and stuff like that. That's one of our top, places on our analytics that we have a lot of users coming from. If we want to grow in markets like this, what do we do? And one of the core principles of that is we need in-person events. So essentially, the idea was born that we have a thing called Solana All-Stars. And this isn't just something that's made up, because the third comment I would make here is, what are some other successful examples of growing IRL events around the world and teaching people and onboarding people in crypto? Well, hey, guess what? The biggest company in crypto, Binance.com, literally dwarfs everyone else. The number two is like 10 times less trading volume and everything than Binance. Binance has a thing called Binance Angels. And Binance Angels is a very successful program. They operate in 75 countries. They've had about 1.5 million people come through all of their different events. And that's the reason that Binance is number one in, like, let's say 100 countries around the world. Like, pick a random country, Binance is probably going to be number one there, right? Like that's just how it works. That's just how things are. And Binance have a very big, team to manage that. But also, they have these meetups that people go to in a whole bunch of cities around the world. They learn about the Binance product. They get excited. They meet other crypto people, and that's how they connect. And then, hey, everyone who goes to that meetup, they now use Binance. Boom, their customer acquisition.
Yeah.
So that's the three things, right? That's the sort of three pillars about why Solana All-Stars is something that we thought was necessary. So Solana All-Stars is essentially our attempt at something like a Binance Angels program, but focused on the Solana ecosystem, and essentially providing educational content, teaching people about how to engage with crypto, how to get their first wallet, how to use these apps, but also how to get jobs in crypto. So how to use some of these DAOs. We've got Super Team, we've got DAOs, we've got Step, we've got DAOs, we've got Samo, we've got DAOs. A lot of different DAOs around the place, right? So there's a lot of different ways that people can, get into the Web3 sort of world and learn stuff. There's also scope for development tracks as well if people are engineers. There's also scope for people that are not engineers and that maybe they're writing content, or they're helping translate, or they're doing a whole bunch of different things, right? So the purpose of these meetups is essentially a way of growing the user base, and that's what we're doing. And the cool news is we're not just talking about it; we've already done it. In fact, it's been going for quite a while. So we had our first meetup, and I see him in chat. We got Simdope. Shout out to Simdope. So Simdope has been running one of it was the first Solana All-Stars meetup in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt. I think we're now on to number 4, which is coming up very soon. So that's so go ahead.
I was just clapping in the background.
Nice. Yes. So I think we're on to number 4, something like that. So every 2 weeks, there's an event which Simdope is running. I think we've got around close to 100 people that we're aiming for this one. For number 4, we started at about 70 or something like that. We have a group, individual chat groups just for that particular city of 300 people. We have our next events, our next cities for All Stars are also opening up. We have a neighboring state in Nigeria opening up, looking at 200, 300 people there. We also have another one in Sierra Leone starting up very soon with members of the foundation as well, helping to with that one, speed that along. So I think that's got 600, 700 people in the local chat groups. We also have a lot of interest in Turkey as well, potential for 3 cities in Turkey for All Stars. So we're getting close to being able to click go on that. So that's 6 cities total. We also have interest in Argentina. We have interest, so Buenos Aires. We also have interest in Bogota, Colombia. Yeah, we have interest in a lot of places, right? And that's the cool thing, is that it can be a scalable thing which can work in a lot of different places, because essentially everyone in this Web3 crazy world are all over the world. They're all over the place, right? So that's super cool. And if we identify the right people who can meet the high quality sort of standards that we set for these meetups, so there is content, we're preparing in advance like 10 weeks of stuff. We have topics prepared. We have individual country managers and ambassadors as well. We have a lot of different ambassadors on board in different capacities to help out. There's flyers, there's banners, there's a lot of different things going into it. But this is how we grow in a bear market. This is how we onboard and introduce more people to crypto. And also the fourth and final element here that I'll end with is, if you're an app in the ecosystem, if you're some DeFi thing or some whatever, and a lot of these apps, they're struggling to find users, right? And how are they going to find users? It's basically shouting about it on Twitter, but in a bear market, nobody's on Twitter, or at least, nobody's engaging. So how do you build users for your app? And maybe that's because you want to go and get funding from VCs, right? And the VC will say, what's your metrics? Show me your traction, all this kind of stuff, right? So how do you onboard users? Well, maybe you should become a partner to the All-Stars program. Maybe, and so we're going to be rolling that out soon, where there will be some form of sponsorship for that. And that's what keeps the program sustainable as well. These things cost money, but so that's a way to get your app in front of thousands of people every week. So if you want guaranteed daily active users, this is one way to do it, right? So I think that's a very compelling value proposition as well for people, and that's something that helps build the moat for what we're doing, and it also includes the rest of the ecosystem that want to go and do cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, this is the idea and the thinking behind All Stars. I'm super excited about All Stars. I think All Stars potentially has the ability to be much bigger than Step even. Um, and yeah, it's not like we're talking about it, like it's already happening. As I said, we've got a number of cities already on the go, and yeah, that's only going to grow and get bigger.
That's right. Um, One thing I want to share, while we were at Crossroads, right? We're talking to people, we're trying to understand what what's in their head. How can we connect with people? They said, look, we hope that this is not going to be another event where they say, see you next year, right? And that's exactly the gap that Solana All-Stars is going to fill for us. These people want to be not just attend to the events. They want us to go there and continue the conversation. They want us to be part of their community, not just once a year. And the beauty of Solana All-Stars here is that we're not at the most major city, let's say for Nigeria, right? Our first event was the fourth largest city in Nigeria, correct me if I'm wrong. And when you talk to these people, in the case of Turkey, when I was speaking with the young minds, to even a father who joined the event with a 10-year-old who's interested in crypto. And he felt that he needed to go there with his daughter and expose her and potentially answer the questions that he, as a dad, can't answer for her. So seeing this kind of traction, seeing this kind of interest, and how it's not about devs only, or it's not about big cities. In Turkey's case, it was Istanbul, right? And I had people who told me, we would love to see you in Ankara, we would love to see you in Izmir, we would love to see you in Diyarbakir. These are smaller cities, but still has decent population. So when you hear these things and when you hear their perspective about these big events, it clicks, and it just makes Solana All Stars a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think the best people to be helping evangelize the communities, they're not going to be. I mean, it's great if everyone's in a major city, but often people aren't, right? So it's really about identifying the best people wherever they happen to be in the world, and giving them the tools to be able to do what they're passionate about, and essentially help onboard people into the crypto world, find jobs, do these all sorts of things. So yeah, I think this is a very clear way of how we're a little bit different to thinking about these things than other people, and other people have their heads stuck in the Twitter world. And hey, look, we already do a bunch of stuff on Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
the Step marketing team will tell you that our metrics are pretty much all-time highs for Twitter. But also, a lot of these different events, this creates a avalanche of new content as well, right? So let's say we have 5 cities up and running. 5 of those cities are doing 2 events a month. That's 10 events a month.
Yeah.
That's 10 events a month that are people posting videos, posting pictures, all this kind of stuff, saying how wonderful it is, all these sorts of things. And that is exposure for the Solana ecosystem, exposure for the partners, exposure for us at Step to grow our product and brand, but also to educate more people. And it gets like, okay, that's 5 cities. What about 10 cities? What about
Yeah.
20 cities? Like the amount, the deluge of content which comes from that is actually massive. And that's a really compelling marketing spend as well for anyone, these DeFi apps that are looking to get their product out there. So actually it makes sense from a lot of different angles. And that's why I think that, look, we're not trying to create something brand new that no one's ever heard from before. We know that the Binance Angels program, like, it's very successful. It's Binance. And you can go and see all of their posts. And, they have, I think CZ invited everyone that was a Binance Angel to some event like last year I saw, and they all had a great time and they were posting about it and people are happy. So we know the model works, right? So it's like, can the Solana community have exactly the same thing? And that's what we want to help pioneer.
That's right. So let's talk about StepDAO. We launched it right after Crossroads, which I don't think we had a chance to talk to our community about it in detail. So this is probably the perfect opportunity to talk about how that's going and what's the idea behind it, and how it actually, is a great way to connect with not only our Step community, but also Solana All-Stars and all that connection.
Yes. Yes. So the DAO is another important element that actually fits in a little bit to this. So I was talking before about how do we onboard people into getting jobs in crypto, and one of the best ways to do that is through bounties, right? So there are DAOs out there of which you can go and do bounties and you can earn some money, and you can do that today. And you don't have to be an engineer to do that. There's a lot of different bounties out there for a lot of different things. Obviously, StepDAO is one. But we're also taking inspiration from the good work that Super Team and Samo have been doing in this space as well before us. So that's number one, is that this is a way to engage people more, to grow the ecosystem, to get people jobs in crypto, and to identify the real sort of winners as well. Because another thing is also hiring as well, right? So how do we know someone's good at the job? You don't. If you just hear someone on Twitter, or they apply through an email or something, you have no idea if they're good or not. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. So I think one of the ways to identify really, top-notch people is, hey, have you been submitting bounties? Like, show us your work. Like, what have you been able to produce? And that's a really very interesting pipeline for that. So number one, the DAO does that, right? Also, it's a way for us as a project at Step, we have a Step token, right? And a large part of the supply of Step is, and has always been, locked in the community pool. And the community pool is essentially, the purpose of that is, it's a wallet with a bunch of Step, and it's meant for doing productive things to grow the Step ecosystem, right? So Step gets distributed for people to do productive things. Now, what are those productive things? Well, they're things which grow the ecosystem. Now, how does that get distributed? Before, we did not have a mechanism for that. So the way that new Step entered circulation was through our existing functionality called reward options, which, if you're not familiar, go to docs.step.finance, check out reward options. Very unique thing. I don't think anyone else is doing this in pretty much all the crypto. There's maybe two other projects I think are doing a similar thing in all of crypto, but I don't even know if they exist anymore. But essentially, rewarding a call option on the Step price when you do something productive on the Step dashboard, like a swap. So anyway, that's how new coins got into circulation, right? Now, with the bounties, this is also another way that we can get the circulating supply more into the hands of the community, and that's another very positive thing. And it's not like a yield farm or anything like that, where you just print coins and give it to people, and then they take the coins, dump them, and then move off. That's not productive. That's dumb. What you want is you want to only issue coins if it's a productive thing, right? So if they are building a video about how to use the product that then goes and gets 5,000, 10,000 views or something like that, well, that's a productive use of coins being distributed, right? So that's what we're trying to incentivize. So the other sort of element to the DAO is this is a distribution mechanism for us as well. And yeah, I guess the third thing is that we have, at the start of the call, you sort of mentioned all the different brands that we've got going on, right? We've got Step Finance, we got the Step Analytics, analytics.step.finance. We got Solana Floor, which we acquired last year.
Right.
We have All-Stars. We have the Next Billion Podcast. We have a lot of these different brands, right, that are all under the Step Finance umbrella, but they're all doing different things. And it's all good that they all have their own followings as well, right? Like often, a lot of the people that follow Solana Floor, they're not knowledgeable that Solana All-Stars is a thing, or that Step Finance is a thing, or that that's what's powering both. So it's good to keep those individual brands as individual brands. But the question is, how do we bring them together under one roof? Because it's also, communities are kind of like liquidity pools, where you want the maximum size of liquidity pool. That's the biggest benefit, right? So if you have alternate discords and different chat groups all over the place, then you dilute the conversation. But also, if the conversation's not as high in one or some other discord, people might think it's a ghost town, when actually the rest of the community is all on another Discord and they're all talking over there. So you don't want people to feel left out. So actually, StepDAO is a way to harmonize and bring all of our brands under one roof. So there is only one Discord now. That's where all of the community discussion happens for all of the different projects that we have under our wing. And I think that's a really good way to harmonize a lot of what we're doing, and make sure that whatever product of ours you are using or engaging with, that you're part of the community and part of the wider ecosystem, and you can go in there and you can ask questions, and there's going to be people in there, and there's activity, and that's what people want to see. So that was another sort of key metric for us as well, is increasing activity and discussion and community building as well. And the DAO has absolutely proven that. I mean, I don't know what the metrics are. It's probably up 10x in terms of activity and stuff in the Discord. But it's they're the three sort of key components of StepDAO.
That's great. And that was going to be my next question. What's the plan on merging all these, which you answered? Maybe we can talk about the organization moving forward. You did say that StepDAO is actually combining all these initiatives, but is there any merge plans from all these line items, such as Solana Floor and Step Finance? Is there anything that you can share there?
Well, nothing that hasn't already been said. There is, at some stage, the data from Solana Floor will go on to Step, right? And we said that about a year ago. We said about a year from now, so June, July of this year is what we said last year, that we hope to be making big inroads into moving some of that data from Solana Floor, and our intention back then, and still is now, to move Solana Floor more towards a media company and brand, and that's why we have Solana Floor News, which, by the way, last I heard, 40% of new arrivals to solanafloor.com are going for the news. So it's grown beyond just being an NFT analytics site. It's also now a place, well, it's the only place that has a dedicated newsroom, essentially, for Solana projects. And if any projects out there have noteworthy breaking news or things that they want to get out to the world, well, Solana Floor News is a place to do that. So at some stage, yes, the data will be coming across. We've been working on a lot of the indexing stuff on the back end to make that happen, and to build out the analytics product as well. So yeah, once that's all done, then yeah, they will be coming together.
That's great. I think you answered all my questions today. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Look, I think, like I said before, the All Stars, the DAO, these are all ways that we think are the best way to grow a community, especially in a market like this. And it's proven successful. You know, we've been able to increase our metrics all across the board and things that we're tracking, whether it's user engagement, bounties, people that are recurring users to Step, all this kind of stuff. So I think the message is that this kind of stuff works. This is done in a scalable way that can grow to pretty much any city in the world. Like if you're out there, and actually this is another good comment. If there are anyone out there listening to this and they're thinking, man, I know about Solana and
Mhm.
maybe I want to start a community meetup or I want to do something like
Yeah.
that, like get in touch with us, right? And see if there is scope to grow a Solana All Stars meetup near you. And we're happy to see how we can support that. And yeah, I mean, we've got a list now that's growing. So and there's all sorts of other people that are involved with it that you can talk to and bounce ideas off, and all of we call them all stars, the people that are running these events, and then we also have ambassadors. They're all sharing their ideas of how to do meetups and the content and that sort of stuff. So it's pretty exciting, and this is a way to get into Web3. So yeah, and also definitely check out the bounties. As I said before, we have one of the exciting bounties we have. Oh yes, we got. I should shill the app bounty. That's a good one. So we recently put out a bounty. So one of the things for this is, for those that came to Crossroads, you know that the ticketing process was something which could have been improved upon, right? We had multiple different forms that could have been. And yes, look, there's trade-offs. We were using one product to do that, and we think that ultimately, what the best thing to do is how can we continue to engage with people that visit our conferences or meetups or use a product on an ongoing basis, and also add value to them that they actually want to come and return, right? So one of the things was, can we build number one, a mobile app for registering for the events, gaining access to the events, and a one-stop shop place to be able to get news and on the bounties as well as Solana Floor news, and get all of that integrated into an app, right? So it's kind of like, if you want to go to an event, you just get the app and then you show the QR code and then in you go, right? So
Yeah.
now we have a good understanding of who's going, and we can reward them with various things as well throughout, down the track, whether it's NFTs or airdrops or whatever it is. Another core thing is that, what is one of the killer apps on mobile? So right now we got the Solana phone, right? Everyone's talking about that. Oh, what's your mobile strategy? What are you doing with mobile? Well, the thing which actually has worked on mobile has been watch lists. It's been Blockfolio. Blockfolio got acquired by FTX before FTX blew up, like a couple of years ago, whatever it was, for what was it, 140 million, something like that. Why did they get acquired? All they were was an app with a watch list where you could add some coins to a list and then watch the number go up and down. And I'm pretty sure probably most people in this chat here probably have some form of app with a watch list. And they probably use it pretty frequently to track what their portfolio is doing. So we know that the watch list is an important thing. So adding the watch list functionality to the event app is another cool thing. Now you could call it a watch list app with events, you could call it an event app with a watch list. Doesn't matter. The point is that data is something that we do at Step. We do that very well. We have an analytics platform all for that. So we have all of this stuff already, right? So we could build a watch list. In fact, on analytics.step.finance, there already is a watch list. you can go and use it, and you can use it for like LPs as well as just coins, which I think is quite unique. No other app that does watch lists, you can like add DeFi farms or anything to that. So a lot of cool stuff, right? So we already do that. So we have a bounty out there for doing the designs and the initial work. It's going to be open source, of course, and we're currently collecting interesting people from the community that are wanting to submit designs for that, and then we'll hopefully get it all built out. And the plan is that if we can get that out by the end of the year, I mean, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge heavy lift. I mean, it'll be Android as priority, but iOS, of course, as well. and that means that it'll work for everyone everywhere. And yeah, I think that's also a very exciting element as well, that we can continue to yeah, engage with our users and get people to be able to maybe some of the chat groups and stuff that we have in other channels right now, like I was mentioning, some of the individual meetups have hundreds of people in these chat groups. Maybe that would take place on the app. I don't know. Could be, but a lot of different things that we can do with it. So yeah, that's definitely go check out the bounty on stepdao.org.
Yeah. So, two things I want to add. So, please go ahead and check out all our full list of bounties on stepdao.org. And you don't have to participate in order to, in a way that you don't have to submit a bounty in order to participate. You can come to our Discord and tell us what you think should be added there, right? Maybe you're not interested in the ones that are listed, but you have a really good idea for us where we can add a different bounties to get your interest. And please participate in different ways. And the same thing applies to Solana All-Stars. Like George, highlighted, and I had mentioned, this is a community event. This is an onboarding. The goal is onboarding people to not only to crypto, but also Solana, right? You can be part of, you do not have to be part of the physical event. You can be part of the Discord group where these people are chatting after the meetups to show that we have a strong community. You can be part of it as to like understanding how these events are going and how you can add value, just basically, being present and showing face. So we're there. Please know that we have a bounty channel dedicated to bounties for questions or feedback or talking about the bounties or the memes that are submitted. We also have a dedicated channel for Solana All-Stars, where we talk about the events. We greet our new onboarded members. You can be part of that. So please come join us. It's all under the Step Discord. I am there. Everybody that you see here is there, and our new members every day that come in stops by there. So we would love to see you there. Thanks again for everyone for joining us today. Thank you, George. And
My pleasure.
I'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. See you later. See you in the Discord.
See you.